Being a part of something greater means not only that you have a greater sense of belonging and fulfillment, but it also means that you have a much greater responsibility. And that question of responsibility to something more than yourself comes up in this week's parasha. It's a double parasha, Matot Masei. And one of the discussions that comes up as we're coming to the end of the book of Bamidbar, when the Israelites are wandering through the wilderness, and Moshe is about to give his final speech, which is essentially the book of Dvarim, Deuteronomy, is what's going to happen when they go into the land. Even though Moshe is not going to lead them in himself, he right now is not testing the people, but trying to see where they are emotionally, physically, spiritually, and preparing them for the great battles ahead. And he's posed with a challenge that he thinks he's seen before. A few weeks ago, we read the parasha of Korach, where Korach, who was a man of a holy family himself, challenged Moshe. And we saw that it wasn't that the challenge itself didn't have merit, it's that Korach wasn't bringing up the challenge for the right reasons. He was doing it out of a sense of selfishness. And again, Moshe has brought a challenge before him. Two of the tribes of the Shvatim, of Reuven and Gad, parts of them come to Moshe and say, we know you're about to go into the land of Israel, but we don't think we want to go in there. And all these times and the wanderings in the wilderness, we've actually set up a pretty good life for ourselves, and we'd rather stay outside the land. And Moshe thinks this is another rebellion, like Korach, or like the sin of the Meraglim, of the scouts, the spies who said, we're not able to go into the land. And he says, oh boy, not this again. And he's quite angry. But Reuven and Gad think that they found a solution to the problem. They say, Moshe, here, we're going to meet you halfway. We swear, we promise that we will go into the land, fight the battles, and once the battles are over and the people are settled, they've, Yishuv Haaretz, they've settled the land, then we'll go out. And Moshe thinks about it. And then he responds, and the way he responds is very interesting because he essentially agrees to their plan. But instead of just saying, that is a beautiful plan, yes, if you go into the land with us, and fight until the battle is over, you can live outside. He could have said that, one verse, one pasuk. But instead, he has this incredibly wordy, verbose response. And one of the things that we hold true in our tradition is when the Torah uses a lot of words, there's a reason for it. Why was Moshe so wordy? And the answer to it might come in the fact that he doesn't just repeat what they say. He doesn't say, let's go over all the details and clarify the contract, and you said this, and I'm just trying to clarify it. He changes something very, very important. And we actually see that emphasized in a commentary inside of a commentary. There's a beautiful commentary known as Haktaveh Kabbalah by Rabbi Yaakov Tzvi Mecklenburg. But he quotes another rabbi, Rabbi Azariah Figo, and this is a rabbi, he's an 18th century Venetian scribe, and he points out something. It says, again, his commentary inside of Rabbi Mecklenburg's commentary. It says, Perzo, Rav Azariah Figo, Kihem Amru, and they said, and them, the they is the tribes of Reuven and Gad, Kihem Amru ve'anachnu nechaletz lifnei b'nei Israel. We will fight, we will battle, we will go to war for the nation of Israel, for our fellow Jews. Lo nashuv el betenu ad hitnachel ish nachalato, and we will not rest and go settle in our land outside of Israel until everyone is in their proper ancestral land, the land that is designated for them. It sounds beautiful, and again, it seems like Moshe agrees with this. But then the commentary goes on to point out that when Moshe repeats it back, he doesn't say that you're going to battle lifnei b'nei Israel for the Jews. What Moshe says is, you will go to battle, and I have the text here, Vayomer elehem Moshe, im ta'asun et hadavar hazeh, im techalatzu lifnei Hashem. If you're going to go to battle, lifnei, for Hashem, lemilchama, for war, not for Bnei Israel, but for Hashem. And he repeats that several more times. Clearly, he's emphasizing that this plan will only work if they recognize who they're fighting for and what they're fighting for. And then Moshe very beautifully says, and you will be neki'im, once you fulfill the battle and everyone's settled, and he mentions both Bnei Israel and Hashem. Moshe recognizes that's important that they are fighting this war both for their fellow brethren, but also for Hashem, for something greater. And the danger here that we have to recognize is that if the tribes of Reuven and Gad are only going to battle specifically because they want to fight for their fellow brethren and they're only doing it for them, then they might end up giving up before it's over. They'll decide on their own metrics of when this battle is over. We think the people are settled enough. We look at them and they're kind of okay. And by the way, after the time of Yehoshua, that becomes the downfall of the people, is they don't end up fully conquering the land and they leave a lot of idolaters left, and it leads to generations of suffering in the book of Judges until we finally get the kings. So if we end the battle before the war is over, then the greatest tragedies may still yet to come. However, if Reuven and Gad are also serving Hashem, then they're serving something greater than them. Recognize that Hashem has a great vision for what the people will be, what their purpose is in the land. There's this incredible mission, and that truly is something that can last for a lifetime. Not that Reuven and Gad can never settle outside the land, but they'll always be engaged in Hashem's mission and vision for the land. And that's a powerful message for us today. If all we do is focus on the immediate surroundings, and if someone said, what do you care about? I would say my family, Hashem, and my congregation. But if that's all I focus on, then I'm missing the bigger picture. I'm part of a nation. I'm part of a global community. There are many, many, many other people that my actions could directly or indirectly affect. But if I'm so narrow focused that I only think, oh, my little town or my home is fine, then I don't need to worry about anybody else, then not only will other people continue to suffer, because no one will stand up and fight for them, but ultimately it's going to come back and affect me as well. So even though things may look good where you live, think about it. What do you really care about? Do you care only about the people who are directly surrounding you? Or do you care about creating a vision and a better world? And I don't know what the answer is going to be for you, but think about it. If you think the battle is won, is the battle only won in your tiny little bubble? Or is there a much greater war that you need to be a part of, and we can't win it without each and every person? And I'm speaking here not only about Reuven and Gad and our obligation to both of our local community, our Jewish community, but the greater Jewish community and the world and the mission and the vision of God for all people. But there are other conversations that can be relevant here. Don't give up the battle before the war is over. There's something much greater that needs to happen, and we can't do it unless everyone does their part, like Moshe asked Reuven and Gad to do. Livnei Hashem, for the greater good. Shabbat Shalom.